Hi and welcome. This video is going to be about the work breakdown structure and the activity list. So the work breakdown structure actually lists the items, whereas the activity list describes the processes. The work breakdown structure is a list of components of the deliverable. It's a hierarchical structure of things that the project will make or outcomes that it will deliver. And it defines all the things in the project that's needed to accomplish. It's organized into multiple levels and it's displayed graphically. The work breakdown structure defines the what of the project. Everything you need to accomplish in the project is displayed in a single, easy to understand chart. The breakdown is complex activities into smaller, more manageable constituents. So the hierarchy is the work breakdown structure is hierarchical in nature. There's child levels that exists in the relationship with the parent levels, and the sum of all the child elements should give you the parent element. Every level of decomposition must make up 100% of the parent level. It should also have at least two child elements. It's mutually exclusive. All elements at a particular level in the work breakdown structure must be mutually exclusive. There should be no overlap in either the deliverables or their work. That is to reduce the miscommunication and duplicate work. The work breakdown structure is outcome focused and focuses on the result of the work rather than the activities necessary to get there. Every element should be described via nouns and not verbs. This is a big source of confusion for beginners in creating work breakdown structures. So what we have here is the work breakdown structure is created at the end of the planning phase. So before you create your work breakdown structure, you need to understand the project scope and the objectives, okay? You need to understand the project scope in detail. Once you understand that project scope, then you can go ahead and start your work breakdown structure, okay, by figuring out what your deliverables are. So right now, I'm going to bring over the project scope template that I'm going to provide for you in this assignment. So this here is a pretty detailed project scope template. You can find these free on projectmanagementdocs.com. And so what you're going to do is you're pretty much going to take the information from your proposal form and you're going to just copy and paste it in here and then just fill in the areas that were not covered in your project scope. So there is quite a few pieces here, but you just want to make sure you have a lot of these stuff already in your form, just copy and paste, but you want to make sure you get that scope description in here, the project purpose and the justification, and the deliverables is going to be really important here because I'm going to get back to the work breakdown structure. Now, one thing about these documents from projectmanagementdocs.com is they always provide instructions, okay, in green, and then it does a sample for you in the black text, okay? So it's telling you that in the introduction area, this is what should be, included in the introduction. The project scope statement is all of the different areas that you'll see in just a second here in the headings, okay? So what it does is it gives you a little example of what you should write about your project in these areas, okay? Just remember a lot of this is going to be copy and pasted from your proposal. So here we have the purpose justification. This is real important. This is, the big part of your scope statement is the description. What's your high level requirements, okay? It does have examples in there, some boundaries, strategies. Now this is where it's going to be important, where we've discussed the deliverables and we've gone back and made some revisions to our deliverables. And when you get to this point and start building your work breakdown structure, you may find that you may want to change them up a little bit, which is good and it's okay because it's going to help going forward. So then when you submit your final version in module 7, those ones that you have adjusted, just make sure that they're in that final version. And then we have the acceptance criteria and constraints. What could possibly, you know, impact us completing our project? And some of those you might be able to use later when we get into the risk assessment, which is also in the module 7. Your cost estimates, you mostly already figured that out in your proposal. So you just can break them down a little bit. And then what's your benefits? Okay. All right. And so that you can go ahead and do. So like it said in the PowerPoint, once you understand the scope and the objectives, and remember we discussed there's a difference between the objectives and the deliverables, okay? So once you understand the scope statement, now you can start building this work breakdown structure, okay? So you're going to figure out those key deliverables. So in this case here, if we're building a house, and this is very basic, a work breakdown structure, building a house would be a lot more complex than this, but each deliverable must be essential to the success of the project. Each deliverable is part of an independent team. The team for laying the foundation won't be the same as the team that's building the interior. You may sometimes have a little crossover, one person working in two areas, but it's not very often, but it could happen. So what we do here is we call the name of the project is the level 1, okay, which is the house. And we have 3 deliverables. Once again, very basic work breakdown structure. So our deliverables will be the foundation, the exterior, and the interior. Those are what we call level 2s. All right, so for the work breakdown structure for an event dinner menu, okay, this is a list of components. Example would be the food items. We're just going to take one part of the big project. And so this is what the food items are consisting of: the seafood bisque, Caesar salad, chicken marsala, so on, okay? So level 1 is the project name, the event dinner. Level 2 are the deliverables, okay? So we're going to say that every deliverable here, level 2, is a noun, okay? Now then when we go into our level 3s, which are our activities, those are the activities that we need to do in order to complete the level 2s. And those are considered verbs, action words. Okay, remember our English days in K-12 where we learned about nouns and then verbs. So our deliverables for the event. So the deliverables are any product, service, or result that must be completed to finish the project. They can be internal or external. They are listed as level 2s. And once again, there's our food items that we're going to have. So the activities are actions that are going to be taken to complete the deliverables. The activities consist of task and subtask. Activities are listed as level 2s, and this is wrong. This should be level 3s. So I apologize for that, and you see what can happen during a live session, but I'm going to fix that right now so that that is fixed going forward. Okay, so let's get back in there, and I apologize for that. Okay, but I wanted to catch that. It was a good thing I did so it wouldn't confuse you. Okay, so activities are listed as the level 3s. So these are our actions. What do we have to do to get to that final product of preparing all those foods that we had mentioned? So we have buying the food, preparing the ingredients, cooking the food, and serving the food. Okay, so here is a work breakdown structure for the dinner menu. So the project name is level 1, which is our event dinner menu, okay? And then we have our deliverables are level 2s, seafood bisque, Caesar salad, etc. And then the activities are level 3s. Those are the things that we're going to do or what we need to do to get to our completion of our deliverable. So these are the things that we need to do in order to make the seafood bisque. We have to go buy the ingredients, prepare the ingredients, cook the seafood, and put the seafood on the dinner plates, okay? So each one of those is pretty similar, but those are the activities involved. And then once again, your team members, in this case, it may be chefs and kitchen helpers that are crossing over, but most of the time these are all done by different teams, okay? So we may have a different team that's working on the seafood bisque and then the Caesar salad, and different teams working on the tiramisu, which is the desserts. Okay, so my go-to resources to help with the work breakdown structure is the Workamajig Esther Cohen, What is a Work Breakdown Structure in Project Management? Okay, so you can click on those links. I will provide the PowerPoint in the resources area. Then also we have Liliana Buchtik, differences between the work breakdown structure and the list of activities. And then we have PM World that has no more excuses, the importance of the work breakdown structure. And she talks about how important it is to make sure when you're working on projects that you do have the work breakdown structure. And she will go into detail about that because it's practically assigning work to the team members to make sure that they are accountable for what they're doing. And then here's my references for that, for the little PowerPoint here, and then you can see where I got all my information from. Always cite your work. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go into um, a Mind Manager program, because this is my project proposal form that I did on the cybersecurity training, okay? And I took this as one piece of a big project of implementing cybersecurity into an organization. So I took one piece of it, which was providing the training, okay? So we have my deliverables here is assemble the cybersecurity team, research online cybersecurity training resources. So what I'm going to do now, and this is why I say if you may need to adjust your deliverables again here as you're working on your work breakdown structure, and that is fine, because just put it in the work breakdown structure, and then moving forward when you turn in your final copies, just make sure you've gone back and revise those original documents you've already turned in. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to pull up. Now I use a program called Mind Manager, and it is one of many mind map tools. Okay, this one is rather costly, but I was able to purchase it as a student through the like one of those academic superstores or something like that, that you show that you're a student or you're an educator, and then you can get discounted prices. But you can use any free mind mapping tool that's out there, but since I'm familiar with this one, I'm going to go ahead and use it. And the template I'm going to use is organizational chart, because I like this to make my work breakdown structures, okay? Okay, so now my level 1 is the name of my project, which is going to be called the cybersecurity training. Or we're just going to say cybersecurity so we can keep that as a noun, okay? All right. Now, my level 2s are going to be the deliverables. Let me see if I can kind of pull this over here. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so anyway, I'll just go ahead and type those in here. So assemble the cyber security risk team. And actually, we've got a verb in here. So as I'm looking at this, is I'm just going to take out the words. See how I say as you're working on this, you may change your deliverables a little bit. So let's just change that as cybersecurity team, risk team. We're going to assemble that team. Okay, so now I'm going to put the video on pause as I finish typing in the deliverables. Okay, so I went here and I put all my deliverables in, and what I did here is, as I was doing this, I noticed that I did need a little bit of revision of my own deliverables to try to make them nouns, because we don't want the activities list with the actions confusing the deliverables. So I did a little changing here myself. So I put here cybersecurity risk team, online cybersecurity resources, because assembling is going to be an activity. The researching will be the activity here. Then we're going to have demonstration. So I just put top 3 vendor choices. final selection of cybersecurity resources, implement the cybersecurity training, which is actually a verb, but I couldn't think of anything else to put there for trying to make that just a noun. But so sometimes, you can't just make them all nouns, but try your best. And then here are the mandatory notifications. All employees must complete the training. The e-learning cybersecurity courses go live, and then data collection to ensure compliance. So here we have our level 1 is the cybersecurity, and then here are our level 2s, okay? And those are our nouns. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our level 3s, which is our activities. What are the activities that we need to do to go ahead and complete all these deliverables? And once you have gone through all of those tasks, we call them tasks or subtasks, once we go through all of them, then we come to what's called a milestone, and the milestone is when that deliverable has been completed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the video on pause one more time, and I'm going to go ahead and break down a couple of these just to show you how to put your activities in there. Okay, so I went back and I started breaking down the activities here, the level 3s. I didn't do them all, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what this is going to look like as you're breaking these down into your activities, your level 3s. Okay, so let me make this a little bigger. So here for my cybersecurity risk team, at least in this case, you're doing a basic one. At least try to have anywhere from 2 to 4 in your columns. As you start working with teams and you're all putting your heads together, different people are going to come up with different things that will work, and you may end up having a lot more than just 4. You may have several when you start looking at big work breakdown structures. So here we have cybersecurity risk team. We're going to initiate the project. We're going to appoint the cybersecurity risk team, or we may recruit to see which employees would be interested in different departments. You want to maybe try to have one from each different department or something like that. You want to define the project objectives and the scope, and that's where your scope statement comes into play here, so that they can review the scope statement with everything that was in there. It has the budget, the deliverables, everything that's in your scope statement. And then also, identify all your key stakeholders, because it's going to be all employees, admin, senior management, to admin, to um, just custodians, or any of those type of stakeholders, anybody that's working for the organization that will have to take the training. And even though you may not think a custodian would need that training, if they get access to a computer where they have to check, maybe do their work hours, they have a online digital login, log off, and they're checking their email, or they're checking pay stubs, or whatever the case may be. When they have access to using a computer, they are considered a stakeholder, and they will need to go to the training. The next one here, I only did about 2. You're going to research some online cybersecurity trainings, and then you're going to test some of those online courses. Of course, you can probably break that down even further. Then I jumped over here to mandatory notification, provide training on the use of the course. Sometimes those cybersecurity trainings have like a tutorial in the beginning anyway, but if not, you may have to provide some of that. So we got to think about those things. Then we're going to conduct or commence with the training, ensure employees are taking the training, tracking those completions, that all employees, are taking the training. And then we have data collection, ensuring compliance. We're going to survey the employees about how they felt about the training, if they got anything out of it, did they learn things. Conduct the final evaluations of the course, monitor the training effectiveness, look in for the scores and stuff like that. Whoever would be in charge of that, most time it's usually HR, but monitor them, see how people are doing when they're taking the course, document the lessons learned, with everything. What did you find out from the survey of the employees, how they felt? what kind of scores were they getting, and then you want to communicate those outcomes with senior management. So this is just something quick, but I think it's enough to help you look at your project and be able to go ahead and make your work breakdown structure and do your level one, the name. Your level twos are your deliverables. If you have to refine those deliverables like I did in this case, go ahead and do that, and you'll just kind of make little revisions of those, going forward when you submit that final version. One other thing that's very important when you send me, you'll put your project scope in as a Word document, and then you can copy and paste this into the bottom of the Word document just as an image, but try to make it big enough so that I can, read your activities down here. Or you can just attach a JPEG separate, but make sure that when these programs use their own like file, so you always have to make sure you go to save as, and then try to save it as a like here is saving it as a mind manager document. So please make sure that you come down to your options and look for JPEG, okay, or PNG. I can open those. So you want to save it, or you can even save it. Let me see if some of them have PDFs options that you can save it as a PDF. I'm not seeing that here, so I'm just going to save it as a JPEG. And then you can just go ahead and name it your cybersecurity work breakdown structure, and then go ahead and save it in your folder. Let me go ahead and I'll save it in here. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you can just copy and paste that into another page, just add it to your project scope. Just copy and paste the picture in there. If yours gets really big, like I said, you should be able to attach more than one document. If not, put your project scope Word document in as your assignment, and then down in the feedback comments area, just put me a little note and say, here is my WBS, and then attach it as a file in that comments area. So this way I can open it up bigger and be able to see it and read it. So I hope this helps you with your work breakdown structure. And if you have any questions or anything, just be sure to email me. And I hope this helped you out. Thank you.